So welcome back, everybody. This is Night Flight, and today Tony Sayers is back. His website is transcendingtimes.org. Made it.
Only 554 interviews, and we got it right.
The other day, my mother looked at me and she said, "Oh, your one tooth is shaped like mine." I said, "Well, it only took you 65 years to notice."
You might have some abandonment issues there, Judith.
Yeah, probably. So, Tony, you just recently made a video about Jason Shorker, and is it TLS, correct?
TLS, yeah. We've got some new saviors in town, and luckily for us, because we're screwed otherwise. Oh yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. So this guy, obviously, I get a lot of emails from people every day now of, can you review this person? Can you review that person? Can you review it? And this name, Jason Shirker, kept coming up and up again. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to look at it. And of course, when I watch these, it really hurts my brain and hurts my soul and just makes me cringe. So even just reviewing them and listening to the recommendations is hard work. But but this guy is another one that kind of, as all of these popular new agers do, just blew up out of nowhere over the last couple of years. He's got over 100,000 subscribers in like 6 months, and you and I both know that that's pretty much
doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I've been grinding away for nearly 10 years on my channel. I'm just about nearly at 14,000 with like nearly lost my channel countless number of times, and you know all about that as well. So, anyone that blows up really quickly like that is a huge red flag. And this goes for documentaries as well. I've noticed in the alternative media that these popular documentaries that blow up overnight get shared so often, like the Fauci one and the Died Suddenly when I watch them, you can tell they're cult documentaries, and I got a lot of heat for saying that. So I don't know, just going off topic a bit there, but I always think if something's really popular, because it's hard to speak the truth and become really popular. So yeah, this guy blew up, and I had a look at him, and I also have a personal friend here in Player who has met him and told me some more personal things, which are kind of, they can't be verified, but they're rumors, but that she is someone that I trust a lot. And she was telling me all kinds of things about, how he's been stealing people's work and he uses people and all this kind of stuff. And when you meet him, his energy is completely not what it comes. I mean, his energy is bad enough on the videos, but so she's like, you got to do this. You got to do this guy. Like he really is blowing up big time. He's getting a lot of followers. And so I looked at him and yeah, I mean, straight off the bat, the energy of the guy. I mean, he's Jewish as well. I mean, he's religious. Yeah, at the same time, he's promoting all the new age spiritual stuff. And actually, someone challenged him on his Instagram. The Instagram is the best place to have a look at him because he uploads a lot of really BS stuff there. Have you seen him on Instagram?
No, because I'm not on Instagram.
Oh, right. Okay. So, yeah, his YouTube channel, his videos are quite long. Sometimes they're interviews, but if you go to his Instagram, you can see snippets of all the things that he's talking about. And yeah, someone was challenging him, like, you're religious, isn't that like a trap of the Matrix? But you're spiritual. They say, oh no, the religions, they were once created as spirit, the way they try and bypass all these things. But on his Instagram, he has these clips of this hooded man and with the voice like changed to a robotic voice, and it's almost like this sci-fi. Have you seen it? yeah, it's almost like this, I don't know, this kind of like sci-fi movie playing out where he's the chosen one that this TLS have chosen to give humanity all this information, and he has all these really weird like interviews with this hooded man with the robotic voice talking about all kinds of different about how Atlantis was once this, and you know what's really beyond Antarctica, and all this stuff. So everything that he says, I just think, well, okay, it's the opposite then. So, but yeah, as you mentioned, his main thing at the moment is this TLS, which are these. I mean, it's the same it's the same rhetoric repackaged time after time after time, isn't it? I mean, it's just the whole Trump and the white hats, where that one's kind of died a death. They need something else now, and so this guy's coming along with the TLS. I forget what it actually stands for, actually.
The light system.
The light system, yeah. Notice how they always use the light, and it's the same BS. It's you don't have to do anything. There's some people in the background that are, you know, going in the tunnels, saving all the kids. I mean, it's the same things that Trump was supposed to have cleared out the swamp years ago of all this stuff. But these guys are back on these white knights, and they won't disclose any information to you, the general, you know, the general Joe. It's only Jason. They go through Jason, yeah, because he's like really special, and it's just another savior program, and it's all the like, don't worry, things are happening in the background. Like, oh yeah, the video I reviewed, you'll see that he said that there was going to be a really big cataclysmic event on December the 22nd last year, but these the TLS came in and they prevented it all, and they made all these arrests, and these people are now going to be illuminated by the 14th of January. 13 families of people, or some BS crap like that, and it's just the underlying thing is it's okay, don't worry, you don't have to do anything. Other people are sorting this out. You know, you just think love and light, sit back, sing Kumbaya under the oak tree, and do your meditations, and this TLS are there in the background making all the arrests, holding people to account, and you just keep your vibrations high and focus on the new earth. I mean, it's the same thing repackaged.
Yeah. When I, for the purposes of this video, an hour ago or so, I rewatched his video, What is TLS? And yes, I agree with you. It's really hard to sit through it.
Yeah,
But okay, I thought it's better to do that. And he said, yeah, they have been here for thousands of years. But you know what? I'm not one iota wiser what that actually is. My impression was it is a type of alien race that
right.
is here, that has been here for thousands of years, that there are non-human influences here on this earth. I will not debate that, yeah, because I'm pretty sure of that, but I will not fight about the terminology. Some people think it's demons, others say it's malevolent alien races, whatever it might be. As long as we can agree there is a non-human influence, I think we have a platform where we can work from. So, but I still don't know really who they are, and
You're not allowed to know.
Is...
Only Jason's allowed to know.
Okay. Yeah, that's fishy to me. You know, if there really is such a group, why not do it yourself?
Yeah, I know. And what's crazy to me is you go into the comments of these videos, and just people are loving it. They're sucking it up. oh, great, Jason, you know, tell me more, tell me more. It's like, how many of these psyops do we have to go through before people actually move out of this mindset of needing a savior and realizing that this is never going to happen? It's really frustrating to watch, especially like you and I. How many videos did we do about Q and all of that? It's really frustrating 2 or 3 years down the road, um, to see that people are still falling for these things. And actually, there's still people now waiting on Q.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, I'm in a Telegram group just for shits and giggles to watch all the Q drops. There's still Q dropping, and there's still people hanging in there, because Trump's now going to be making a comeback, and so they're all waiting and waiting, and they've got their popcorn and wugga wugga wugga, whatever they say. Where we go one. But that's what they do. They run these psyops to just divert people into non-action and acceptance.
Yeah. I think that is one of the most important things to grasp, that real tangible change will not come via, oh, I lean back, grab my popcorn and watch the show because others are doing the dirty work for us. No, it will never happen that way. What is really necessary is civil disobedience. Yeah. And that is very uncomfortable. I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, waiting for the savior. But then again, you know, I thought this morning, we grow up kind of with that scenario. When I remember reading, you know, the Brother Grimm, yeah, as a little child, and all these fairy tales that are in these books. Yeah, there's always, it comes to a point, a damsel in distress, and here comes the white knight who is going to rescue her. So pretty early on, that is somewhat hammered into our, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I hadn't thought of that before, but you look back at like the movies and the cartoons, like you say, when we were children, like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, all these different, yeah, essentially the underlying theme is there'll be a savior. So in the end, there's always a savior. And you wonder whether that's, well, it must be part of the mind control that they use from an early age to drum it into people, because it's not normal. I mean, God, the biggest the biggest controlled opposition is God. You know, this idea of God coming to save people, or Jesus. You know, I mean, how deep do you want to go with these savior programs? I mean, I've said before, like how often do you need to pray before you realize it doesn't actually work? Like it just, there's been people praying for centuries for peace, world peace, and we're more, it's like constant chaos. There's constant wars. I mean, it really is, I don't know, kind of childish, the way that we are so like obsessed with something out there, some deity, some entity, some politician, some group of saviors to come and do our dirty work and sort our problems out, and you know, make right all the wrongs that we've done. And you know, it just lacks sort of sovereignty, self responsibility, taking personal action. And because that's what people don't want to do. It's too difficult. It's too hard for people to think, oh, okay, well, actually, maybe I need to do something about this situation in my life. Maybe I need to remove a person, or maybe I need to change my diet. Maybe that's why my health isn't good. Maybe praying's not just going to get my health back, right? It really just, it's kind of lazy when you really sort of drill down to it. And of course, it feels good. That's the other thing, you know, people, and this is what I get a lot of grief for, because when you say that to people, well, like, how often are you going to keep praying to God before they're like, oh yeah, but that's the thing. It feels good to people to know that there's some guide or angel or politician that's got their back, or and it's a trap that we keep falling into. So I've been saying for a long time, we really need to drop all these savior programs and start moving towards a more sovereign mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, of course, this will stir the community, yeah, especially when you start talking about Jesus. And but
maybe the community,
my
maybe
biggest
the community needs stirring.
what?
Maybe the community needs stirring.
Yeah. My biggest problem is that within this teaching of the Savior, and then they sell you a human blood sacrifice at the core of that belief system.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that is where I have my biggest problem. Because, you know, be it animal sacrifice or human blood sacrifice, it's so repulsive. I don't even have words for that. And, you know, and sometimes when, for instance, when you read in the Bible, when I guess it was Solomon temples and allegedly 40,000 animals were killed. Tony, can you imagine how that must have smelled? Can you imagine the thick, low vibrating energy that, you know, around that event?
Yeah.
And the priests probably standing up in blood up to their, yeah, I don't know, to their knees or even higher. That is so horrible. I cannot find anything that I admire there. And then they make the forward leap, you know, and then here, now you have a human blood sacrifice.
Yeah, and what do people do in church? They drink the wine, which is symbolic of the blood. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. People don't question those things, do they? The whole thing is inverted, and yeah, it's warped.
Yeah. Yeah, it is needed for your salvation, and no questions asked. And of course, you know, if you grow up with it, and if you really have a very, very strong belief in that direction, you want that to be true.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? There is really no space in a lot of people that is that really correct? Is that okay? Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an important topic, if not one of the most important topics, because while we're trapped in all these savior programs, which are just matrix programs, we're not moving into that sovereign energy. And while we're not sovereign, we're easily manipulated and directed. And this goes on beyond the physical life when you start looking at the near-death experiences and the soul recycling, where certain deities that a person is into in their physical life are used at the point of death to cajole and to coerce people back down. And this is the message that I'm trying to get across. And I don't know if there's a more important thing to understand in this whole alternative viewpoint, in that whatever rigid belief systems that you hold in your physical life will be used against you when you die. So, if your things, Jesus, Buddha, whatever your flavor is, that deity will appear. They will use that deity to coerce you back down, and you'll be back down here, memory wiped, and everything you've learned in this lifetime you won't even remember. So it's potluck whether you even remember this amount of knowledge again. And you're back down to being energy harvested by entities and used as a battery. So as difficult and as hard and as upsetting as it is to think that there are not these saviors, it's going to be worse in the long run if you don't drop them now. And that's just being 100% straight. Because if you research these NDEs, and you'll see time after time after time, the person doesn't want to come back down, but Jesus will appear, or deceased loved one, or whatever. It's not your time. Come back down, and that's what happens. And so it's really, really important that if we want to get out of this matrix, we have to drop those savior programs. Doesn't matter if you've had it for all your life, you need to question it again. We're in this time period where even the most ancient of beliefs need to be questioned, because we've had all of these traditions, we've had all of these ancient beliefs, and we're more enslaved than we've ever been. So where the hell have they got us to? And the savior programs have got to go. They really have got to go. Whatever your flavor is, it doesn't matter. If there's a savior program there, it's not going to serve you in the long run. We've got to start moving towards being sovereign. So, yeah, it's important.
Yeah, a firm believer will tell you now that you do not understand prophecy and how it all started, and that then Jesus is the fulfillment of those prophecies, that all of that, what is going on now, has to happen, and then comes Armageddon, and Jesus will save the believers and trash the non-believers. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people will say to me, "Oh, yeah, but why is everything coming true if the Bible's not real?" Well, they wrote the Bible. That's why. It's not rocket science. The people that are doing this to us wrote the Bible, and so that's why we're seeing things apparently coming true. So there's no coincidences. It's just they're following a script. But of course, the religious folk who follow that will keep seeing these things confirmed, which is keeping them trapped within that kind of savior program. But savior programs come in many different forms. Religion is the oldest one, but the New Age is the new religion, which is what I talk about a lot on my channel. And
climate is another religion.
Yeah. These rigid belief systems really just keep us in this box, and they will be used against us.
So when I remember, I didn't watch the entire 2 hours because that's really hardcore for me. But it was, I guess it was on BitChute, an interview that Jason Shorker did with, the hooded man, and at one point he said, "Yeah." They talked about what underground bases had been destroyed and that children had been freed and so on and so on. So he said, "Yeah, unfortunately, we do not have footage, maybe next time." And that's always the case. Yeah. And it is the case with Q, it is the case with the TLS. Nobody ever has clear precise footage.
Oh,
Never.
but there's been emails, Judith. Did you not know? There's been laptops stolen. That's the other one, isn't it? The laptop was stolen and they found all these information on Hillary Clinton's laptop. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, it's just like a side movie, isn't it? And people get. Do you remember those books where you could read them and then you could choose the next part of the book and it just kept you in, kept you in. It's kind of like that, but they're not making the choices. But yeah, it's kind of like entertainment. And it's just disappointing to see people still falling for it all. Um, and yeah, it's the same thing with the politicians. You know, we think that we've reached a level of awareness, and then an election comes along, and then you see everyone down at the voting booths. And it's like, we're still here, are we? So yeah, I don't know how it's like we don't sort of seem to learn our lesson. I mean, a lot of people are NPCs anyway. I would say up to like 70% of people are not even conscious. You know, they're just programmed with the Agent Smith program running through them. So we can't be too hard on those people. But for the rest of us, we should know better. We should know better. We should know that these savior programs don't serve us. We should know that they lead to nowhere. And we should be more discerning and yeah, take more responsibility.
Yeah. I would say that, yeah, especially the last 3 years, what has been very predominant is this feeling of anxiety and the feeling of what is going on here. And that I have a strong feeling that that will get stronger, that we will see now more and more dirt coming up to the surface, and
Yes.
it will come fast and hard.
Yes.
And for instance, today our defense minister, she resigned.
Okay.
And NATO ministers will have a crisis meeting on Friday because the Ukraine is running out of ammunition.
Oh, right.
So, but the narrative in the media so far is that, just a couple of billions more and Ukraine will win it, hands down. Yeah. For a long time, be it that Putin has cancer, Russia is running out of bullets, none of that is happening.
Yeah, yeah. I have to be honest, I haven't followed a single thing on the war since they started promoting it. I couldn't tell you what they're talking about. I just know obviously it's a big psyop. So, but don't you think that they would have hoped to have escalated it by now?
Yeah, the thing is, the United States, they have a hard time maintaining it because they are running out of money. They have now hit the debt level, the debt ceiling again.
Yeah.
And they are not only providing arms and ammunition from surplus, they also provide from stock.
Yeah.
So now, Colonel McDouglas, I listened to his interviews because I think he has a very straight head when it comes to this.
Is it a white hat though?
What?
Is it a white hat though?
No. He is no longer in active duty, and from what I understand. And he has been saying for a long time, we are depleting all of our weapons, And so maybe they want to keep some for China. You know?
Yeah, I don't
Look,
know.
I think it is a money laundering operation, the entire Ukraine thing. So, and now with the intervention of Russia, then that whole thing is a little bit, out of the loop. I mean, Russia has released a lot of material what they found in the bioweapons. And but okay, this is not, public knowledge. You really have to search for it to get an idea what was really going on there. And I think we here in Germany have a similar thing. I never heard about this guy, William Toll. Does it tell you something? He is an American. He has a website that says Advocate for Germany.
Okay.
And so he came around the corner and made a prediction. And he released a video that in the night from the 13th of January to the 14th of January at midnight, Germany will be under quarantine for 40 days.
Oh, wow.
And what we will see during that time period is frozen water in the pipes in our houses, a total collapse of the supply chains. We will, certain cities will hear rocket fire and so on and so forth. And then 40 days, is it 23rd? Yeah, 23rd. And then the night from the 22nd to the 23rd, the quarantine will be lifted, and Germany will be the first country that is freed from all New World Order influences.
That sounds idyllic. Are you guys going to be in the New Earth?
No, it's the German model.
Oh, right. Okay.
The German model that has nothing to do with the New World Order and the Davos clique.
Okay.
And that many countries will adopt that German model, and that the other ones will fade away in terms of, importance and so on and so forth. So I'm not saying that it cannot happen.
No.
That's an extension of the war, and we are pretty close here. So you probably, the closer you live, it's probably a good idea at least to keep a loose eye on it, what is going on. But that didn't sit well with me, these predictions. That he made.
There's so much misinformation, disinformation, and truth mixed with lies, and it really is challenging to get to the bottom of things sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. He also says that he has been appointed by God to speak up for the Germans, and that is enough. And it is not that I'm an atheist. I said it many times. I'm not an atheist. I do see intelligent design all around me. So, but I have been appointed by God. So, and then he built up his followership, and then he came around the corner with this specific date and what is going to happen. And I mean, now it's top or hop, either if none of that is going to happen, then he can forget about it.
But that's what they do, isn't it? They promote certain dates, and then the dates pass, and then there's an excuse for why said thing didn't happen, and then there's a new date, and while people are waiting on dates, the New World Order's pushing things, and all these people are useless idiots, because these people could actually be doing stuff towards working for the good and for the truth, but they're stuck waiting on dates and thinking that somebody's coming to save them. So it's genius, really, but when you see it for what it is, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So we have another gentleman that is stirring the pot right now. That's the arrest of Andrew Tate.
Yes.
And I just want to begin with saying something about his prosecutor, because from what I have seen, this is not widely known. The prosecutor that is investigating him, that is not just another Joe. That guy brought down the head of one of the biggest drug cartels. He went against the mafia. He is one of those prosecutors who have 24/7 security, because he's not very liked. So that means he is up against a real heavyweight. Yeah. And so when they started seizing his cars, and then he had this appeal in court last Tuesday. But when I saw them seizing his property, I thought, he's not going to get out. That was my personal feeling. Yeah, okay, he didn't. And on top of it, the self-snitching that dude is doing. I will put for the audience, I will put a couple of links into the description box. I really do not want to play them here. But if you're interested in his self-snitching, then you can do that. And I mean, you know, you hear this guy, yeah, I like to be free. I want to do what I want, and da, 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 da. I created all this wealth. Yeah, okay. And then another video where and the chicks stay in the house. His webcam girls, yeah. They do not go anywhere. They do not go to the bar, not to the restaurant, not anywhere. You have to control them.
Okay.
Yeah, so or when he says on camera, yeah, I wanted to move to Romania because I love to be in a country where corruption is accessible to all.
Okay, I can understand that. That's a good point. That's why I'm in Mexico.
Yeah, but then, you know, he made this, what? Put me in jail, and then, you know, as if he's throwing money. Okay, here, this is my cell. Okay, this is I committed multiple felonies. How much to make it all go away?
Yeah.
And yeah, but that didn't age well.
No.
Yeah.
But I hear different things. I hear that he's going to be released. I don't know. I haven't been following it like super closely. I do know that, again, someone that blows up really quickly like that. I mean, apparently, you know, he's been censored, but then, you know, Alex Jones was censored. So I don't, sometimes I think they say that because it gives them more credence, but certainly there's some weird symbology. He's always doing that. And he's always,
the steeple, yeah.
Yeah, the checkerboard and the pizza boxes. That was really weird in the video in which he got apparently caught. And then, yeah, the reference to the 33 cars, the reference to his father, who was in some CIA. Yeah, so yeah, you have to think to yourself, well, you know, with all of that, it's looking shady. But I guess the real question would be, what is he being used for? What would they use him, you know?
I don't even think that they are using him.
No.
He established an empire for himself. Initially, he came out of kickboxing. He explains it himself. He had 72 grand. Then he wanted to buy property in Thailand, so he went to the casino to make more money, lost 30,000. So, and that shows the entire attitude, because you can also hear him say, working is for losers.
Yeah, I've heard
so
of
Tony, you and me, we are part-time losers.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah. But actually, when you think about his messages about being rich, and what's money? It's a form of control. It's a slave token. So he's telling people to chase money harder. Get up, don't waste a day, don't have a weekend. But what is that really? It's really just, okay, people are already chasing money and grinding for something that doesn't exist in nature, some numbers on a screen, and he's out there saying, no, actually, you need to do it harder.
Just like the corporate world wants you to. How rebellious.
Exactly. Material is keeping people in that materialistic mindset, and if you haven't got all these super cars, you're a loser. So, and also, like I said off camera, he's religious, isn't he? He's just turned to religion. So religion is another.
He converted to Islam.
Yeah, it's another control system. We've spoken about it on this podcast today. So, maybe that's going to influence a lot of. It appears to be his target audience are kind of young men. Maybe that's going to funnel them into being religious as well. So there's a number of things that, there's certain things that I do agree with what he says. But yeah, the overarching feeling is, not great.
Yeah, absolutely not. And if people think they need somebody to follow, or a savior or a role model to design themselves after, I don't think nobody needs that. And just ask yourself, what would I like to do? How would I like to shape my life? And don't let it be dictated to you by so-called influencers. But why not follow somebody? If you have that urge to have a role model, why not follow somebody who is promoting real things and unity? And because we have enough division already. And, he is harping on this, women and they are lazy and they are dumb. And then when he choked his girlfriend, he left her a WhatsApp message. She shouldn't be stupid about it because you didn't even pass out.
Oh, right. Nice.
So, but what I mean is, he's a malignant narcissist, and it is so easy to spot. You do not need to study the DSM to notice that. Make it practical, boil it down. What always occurs with any narcissist, be it a grandiose narcissist, which I would say he is, or the vulnerable and covert narcissist, the 3 E's. The first one is lack of empathy. The second one is entitlement. And the third one is exploitation. If you see these 3 traits in a person, you can bet your head on it that you're dealing with a narcissist. And when I heard that message, that he sent the girl that he had choked, you can see all of total lack of empathy, because the person that you are choking does not know if you are going all the way in that very moment. So coming around the corner a couple of days later. And don't be stupid about it. You didn't even pass out. There you see all of it. Lack of empathy, entitlement, I can do whatever I want. And yeah, exploitation big time. Yeah, he also explains how the girls who are working for him, they think when they start, they share the money 50-50. But if the girl makes 10,000, then he keeps 7,000 and gives 3,000 to the girl. And if she asks why it is like that, then you have to explain to her you pay the taxes. Because girls are stupid and lazy and they do not understand taxes, and that way you can keep the money.
Mm.
Yeah, so that is all self-snitching on camera. And yes, I know with that, with that voice message about the choking, I'm aware of the fact that there is technology. If you have a snippet of the voice of somebody, you can use that and manipulate anything and let that person say and what that person never said. Yeah, I know that that exists, but WhatsApp is keeping a record, a copy of any bullshit that you have ever sent, said, or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm pretty sure that the prosecution got it from WhatsApp right away. And then, of course, they pulled a lot from their private computers and so on and so forth. And yeah, I think it doesn't look good.
Do you think this could also be, because a lot of people are suddenly dying? Is this could it be used as like some kind of sideshow to keep people, along with the Prince Harry thing? I think there's a lot of distractions out there right now, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really shocked how many people are, holding the flag for him. As you said, he says things that are correct. Yeah, not everything that he says is bullshit, but he has the mindset of a predator. And not only towards women. He also explained that and he was on a podcast. So he explained that, yeah, and then the dudes, when some of them, they fall in love with the girls and they give me all their money. Then they reserve certain times. It starts like that. And then they want to be the only one who chat to the girls. Some of the guys, they even lost their houses. They gave me all their money. So yeah, he is exploiting vulnerable people, be it male or female.
Yeah. One thing I saw that was interesting, and like I said, I haven't followed him too much, but I did see Piers Morgan interview him, and it did look like Piers Morgan was trying to talk all over him and shut him down, because Piers Morgan is definitely a puppet for the system.
Yeah, sure.
So that was quite weird to see that, but yeah, I mean, there's things that I agree with, but I mean, yeah, he's controversial, and yeah, some of the things, like you say, are not great also. So I just wonder, yeah, I wonder, it'll be interesting to see what happens to him, and if he does get put away. You say this lawyer, I don't know what the timescales is, so I'm sure we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, I think it's dawning on him that that could really happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. There might be a possibility that he can choose to do time in the United States. But if that is a good idea, it's questionable. They certainly have nicer prisons.
That's what happened. Do you remember John McAfee?
Yeah.
He was very much kind of not, but he was very anti-establishment. He was very much shoot from the hip, and he said a lot of controversial things. And he kind of just like, he was trying to escape prison from the States. And I think he died in a cell in Spain under very strange circumstances. So, yeah, whether or not he's like a renegade rogue or he's a puppet, or yeah, it's still playing out. But yeah, I guess it will become clearer with this case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it is dawning on him really, that things do not look good. And yeah, honestly, he's always saying I'm the smartest person on the planet. Yeah, if you know, make one of your first videos is you explain how you become a pimp, and and then you are successful with that. You explain on camera how you defraud the girls, how you take 7,000, they get 3,000, yeah. And then you, on top of it, in the same video, you explain, and yeah, the dudes have to pay in Bitcoin, and that way you do not have to pay taxes. But you tell the girl you pay the taxes so that you can get 7,000, yeah. And so his lawyer, he wanted to get that all thrown out. He argued that this is only a persona, a character that he is playing on the internet. And the judge said, I'm very sorry. I see the same attitude towards the victims. Yeah. And so my impression is that his internet persona is identical with the one that we see in real life, and what we have pulled from his personal files seems to support that. And that is why he didn't get out. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, what the prosecution lets out now, that is only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. I think one reason he has appealed to a lot of men is because he's pushed back against feminism. And, you know, for a long time, men have been told that we're not needed, and, you know, strong, independent woman and all that stuff. And, you know, you look at the court laws in the US where, you know, when there's a breakup, the woman can take more or less everything. And I think he's appealing to, I think a lot of men feel a little bit tired with how feminism has converted women into what they are now. Not all women, but especially the Western society. And I think he speaks to a lot of men in terms of how they're feeling with the modern Western woman in general. So I think that's one of the reasons why he's got so popular, is that it's kind of very taboo and difficult to talk about as men, because, you know, we get shut down and we get called misogynistic if we go down certain areas or roads and speak certain things. So when he's coming out and speaking what might be on a lot of men's minds, I think that's why he's got very popular, because there's a lot of men that agree with some of his points of view. So I think that might be one of the reasons.
Yeah, but that doesn't, I agree. But that cannot deflect from the fact that he's, he's a narcissist.
No,
he's a real asshole.
I'm not saying that I agree with his actions or even a lot of what he said. I'm just explaining.
Because he explained on his own website that I checked the other day, I could no longer find it. It has been scrubbed, which I find it's a total stupid move to do it now, after the arrest. Does anyone really think the prosecution doesn't have the screenshots? Yeah. It makes it even more suspicious. But okay, what what was on that website, he explained the loverboy tactic, that his role was to make girls and young women to fall in love with them so that he can bring them to Romania and work for his webcam business.
That's pimping, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have done any research into human trafficking, then this term, loverboy tactic is used in those circles around the world. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, now it is gone. But so I agree with you, Tony. We need strong men who know who they are.
Yes.
But we do not need men who live happily on the backs of vulnerable people, be it male or female.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, agree.
And he has a nice income. Yeah, it's not only the webcam on his website. He has more than 100,000 people who give him $50 a month.
Is that for his course?
No, the course is 5,000 bucks. Yeah, okay. That's the war room. Yeah.
Okay, right.
And the other thing is, you get access to a certain, and the other one is the war room.
Sure. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, time will tell. We'll see. But yeah, pimping and trafficking, that's not something that any man wants to be associated with.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, I cannot respect a man who is happily living on the backs of women. Sorry, I can't. I also can't respect a man who is exploiting other men.
Yeah.
And he is clearly doing that, preying on the vulnerable. And those that are, confused. Of course, these are confusing times.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and a lot of men, there does need to be an awakening of, masculine energy. And I think we maybe spoken about this on previous podcasts. Well, both feminine and masculine. We've both had a job done on us with different psyops and movements, and that men in general. I mean, we've seen it down the last few years. You got men still now driving in cars or alone in their car with masks on. I mean, this is not embodying masculine energy. So there does need to be like a proverbial kick up the backside for men. But yeah, we want to make sure that that's based in integrity, morality, and all the other good things, as well as just being, this kind of like strong archetype that he presents himself as. And of course, as men, we don't want to be associated with, certainly don't want to be associated with human trafficking and pimping. So if we can take the good and leave out the bad, and like you say, this whole idea of like influencers as well, it's like a buzzword now, isn't it? I mean, we should be our own influencers, and there's nothing wrong with taking nuggets of information from people. But just, leave out the rest and all the stuff that's not in line with, in line with sovereignty.
Yeah, because, when we have so much division here, around the world. So, and at the core of all those things that divide us, be it religion, be it skin color, be it gender, or even sports, at the core of that is the artificially induced hatred between men and women.
100%. 100%. We need each other. That's the joke. It's sad. It's really sad, because there is a war between men and women right now. And if only we could just take a step back and say, yeah, we do actually need each other. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I guess that's a good place to finish it, really.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Yeah, because I think a lot of people do not get it, that this hatred between men and women is really artificially induced.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do not hate each other naturally.
No, no.
Yeah, there always has to come somebody who is telling you why the other ones are so bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but if everyone took personal responsibility for how they think, act, and feel, then we wouldn't have this. People are just so controlled with psyops and agendas and movements that they lose their sense of self and get detached, and they become what other people want them to be. And this is what's happened. Women have become something that the establishment want them to be, and so have men. So what we really need to do is come together and realize that we've both had a job done on us, and work our way back to how it was always working perfectly before. So yeah, absolutely. The biggest divide right now on the planet is between men and women. Out of all the division that there is, that's the biggest divide.
Yeah, exactly. I thank you so much, Tony.
You're welcome. That was fascinating. Thank you for your insights on that as well. Interesting.
Yeah, I had just weeks before I stumbled on him. Yeah. And so I listened to a few clips and I thought, that's a narcissist. What are they are all head over heels? That's a classic example of narcissism. So, and then a couple of weeks later, he has been arrested. And I thought, oh yeah, why am I not surprised? Yeah, we will see.
We'll see.
It's up to the court, it's up to the prosecution to make a bulletproof case. If they can, they can. If they cannot, they cannot. End of story. So that was it. Night flight for today. And we see you all next time. Bye-bye.